Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mbaletle Chrissy, and if you are looking for a change in your life, you are at the right channel, because on this channel we're all about self-improvement. On this video, I am back with a part 2 of university failure with my accountability partner, who will be diving more into our previous topic, and you should go back and watch that video. It is interesting. So on this video, we'll be talking more about how he continued with his studying, and he will be telling us more about the university that he managed to do the course that was interesting for him and that he was able to complete. How are you, partner?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. You
Wonderful.
can greet them.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Thank you for coming back.
No.
So you mentioned your university struggles. You mentioned that you moved from a university to another, and you mentioned I think you counted about 4 universities. So tell us more about your last university that you went to.
All right. The last university being the University of Limpopo. In that university, when I first got there, things were pretty tough because I was still adjusting from actually not being a real student, because I was simply jumping from one university to another, to being a student. I believe it would have been different if I was coming straight from
High school.
into University of Limpopo at the time. But I still had the difficulty of being a student. Studying was tough, focusing was still tough, but I had to push through. And in the first semester, I was not doing so well. The second semester, I actually gave it my all, and I started seeing improvement.
Okay.
And then the years that followed, it was much easier, But the real deal was that I had a goal. I was doing it for something, and I needed to pass. I really needed to pass.
Okay. So one thing that I take here is having a goal. So so when you went to University of Limpopo, you were coming from UNISA.
Yes, correct.
Yes. Okay. So how did you get there? And what what motivated you to continue applying, or to still find something else for yourself?
In UNISA, after dropping out in UNISA, I wasn't quite sure of what I should do next. So I left Gauteng and went back to Limpopo,
Okay.
to my birthplace, my hometown. And the idea there was to really calm my mind down, because I've been stressed for so long, from the first university until the third one, all those years. I had thought of looking for a job. I tried, but then it came to my mind after I got some advice from my sister saying that you shouldn't, give up.
Okay.
Go back to school, try to apply somewhere. And she actually was the one who said, let's go and see if you can apply anything in the University of Limpopo. I remember she was actually going to Pretoria to apply some stuff as well. Then we took the same taxi, we dropped off at the University of Limpopo, and we did the application. She was there. I just had to go and apply. I chose whatever I thought could work. The only final thing was to decide what I wanted to study among the two choices that I had made.
Okay. So if you can just tell us which course did you end up selecting for yourself?
Okay, I applied marketing. It was a BCom. It was a bachelor degree.
Okay.
And I applied LLB, which is also like a bachelor degree. Then I researched between those two in order to find the one which I would be more comfortable in. But one thing that I was looking for this time was a job.
Okay.
I needed something that would actually land me a job,
Okay.
not just any job, not to pass and just struggle finding a job. I needed to find a job. So the decision became a bit easier with law. The job, getting a job is far more guaranteed than marketing. So I chose LLB. It has more opportunities.
Okay. Okay, so you say you chose LLB that you were struggling with at first. So, and you mentioned that you were now more motivated and you just wanted to do it. Because I believe that you were not sure whether it was gonna work or not. As much as you struggled at first. What made you complete that course? And did you complete it like on time, or did you feel like okay at some point you just want to drop out just like in other universities?
Well, I didn't feel like dropping out at all.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any emotional struggles anymore. I
Yeah.
didn't have the psychological struggles that I had before. Everything was, I had a more clear mind. My mind was focused.
Okay.
And it was not easy to actually study and focus on the books themselves.
Yeah.
But I was able to motivate myself. I was able to watch some videos, follow the right people, go to lecturers' offices. I had a mind map for my entire 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the law degree it's actually 4 years, but I wanted to have a mind map for 5 years so that 1 year after I've graduated, I would know what to do.
Yeah.
But I didn't finish it in record time.
Okay.
I finished it in 5 years. It took me 5 years to finish a 4-year degree. I think that's not bad.
No, it's not bad at all. It's not bad. What I like is the fact that you pushed yourself and you finished. I know that to someone it was gonna be the motivational, especially for me. I know that if I do something and I'm failing, I'll be like, okay, let's move on. So it's a matter of that. I like the fact that you pushed through and you were not giving up on yourself. I think that is very, very important.
Yeah.
And okay, so you mentioned that the main thing that you had was motivation, and I know that it's not easy like to motivate yourself after so much failure.
Yeah.
So did you feel any difference in terms of universities?
Yep, there was a lot of difference.
Yeah.
The first one I would name 3.
Yeah.
The first difference was within myself.
Okay.
I was not in the right place of mind or emotionally in the previous universities, all 3 of them. I was struggling a lot, right? And then the second one is the environment. I was more used to Limpopo. I come from Limpopo, so it was easy to navigate myself around with the people that are there. It was easy to get along with anyone. You know, they sort of have the similar lifestyle from the one that I was used to, and it was very close to home. If I needed anything or I needed to rest my mind and refocus, I would just take a drive, 45 minutes, I'm home. The last thing is I was more surrounded.
Yeah.
You know, the first time around, I believe it might have had something to do with my personality at the time, my character at the time, because I was stressed. People sort of stayed away from me.
Yeah.
You know, I was repelling people instead of attracting them.
Yeah.
But then when I was in the University of Limpopo, I was attracting more people towards me. I had more friends. I was more attracted to be with people as well.
Yeah.
I wanted to be with people. So that kept me happy.
Okay. So do you feel like support that you had in your last course it did play a part?
Yes, a lot. It
Okay.
was not just support from family. It was
Yeah.
also support with the people that I had around in the university.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Completing the law degree, I'm sure that was like amazing for you.
A big deal,
So how
yes.
did you feel? And if you can just tell us, where are you now in terms of your profession and your career in law? Are you still continuing to pursue law, or you've changed?
It was quite exciting to complete it. I can't say it was as exciting as I'd hoped it would have been, because my
Yeah.
mind was still on the other opportunities that I actually didn't do.
Yeah.
You know, as I said, media was where I wanted to be, so my mind continued to be there. So as excited as I was still thinking, okay, I'm finishing this, but I have to somehow find a way to connect these to media.
Okay.
So there has to be a way for me to connect my LLB to the media industry. There is a way, in fact, I found it by now.
Okay.
And where I am now, working for a law firm, very exciting. It's has its own kind of stresses.
Yeah, it's
But
challenging.
yeah, but I love it.
Yeah.
I love it, and I am hoping to continue in the law industry, just some kind of a measure between law and media.
Okay.
That's what I'm searching for right now.
Okay. So what you mean is that with your dream career, which is media, you still want to pursue that,
Yes,
regardless. Yeah.
Definitely, I still want to pursue that. I'm hoping that I may be able to work on both sides, actually, media and law.
Yeah.
There are lawyers who are actually called non-practicing attorneys. They are attorneys, but are not practicing. In other ways, you probably won't ever find them in court.
Okay.
That's one of the considerations that I'm making.
Okay.
And the other one is to work in the IP industry, that is intellectual property. Say, for example, in television, they will definitely need copyright material. Their materials need to be copyrighted. So copyright protection, lawyers get involved in such.
Okay.
And that's something that I also want to involve myself.
Okay.
While strictly on the media industry, I'll also continue to write, either write books or stories which might find themselves their way into TV or other multimedia. We have social media now. That's another way of exploring this.
Okay. Okay, so based on your experience, that is actually amazing, because you have an idea of what you want to do after this, regardless of what you are currently practicing. So they say a dream denied, a dream delayed is not denied, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Delayed
I like
but
that.
not denied.
Delayed but not denied. So it doesn't matter how much it takes, but I think the most important thing is to find your purpose and is to find your path, and you can try many things, and I think as long as you don't give up, that is what I've learned from you.
Yes.
That as long as you don't give up, you actually find something that you have interest on, regardless. So based on you dropping out, changing universities, I'm sure you had an assistance, like financially, from your family, and I'm sure you applied for a bursary at some point, isn't? Okay, so doesn't that affect you or affect that benefit of financial help?
Having a bursary is actually a good thing. I started with NSFAS.
Okay.
And I continued with NSFAS for the first two universities, University of the Western Cape and Tshwane University of Technology. I had NSFAS in both of them. Except University of the Western Cape, the second year, since I did 1 year and 6 months, I didn't have it. I lost it because I didn't do well in the first year. I didn't pass pretty much. So when I went to UNISA, that's when I truly started depending on family.
Okay.
While on the other hand, with the other universities, they were still assisting. Even though I had a bursary, there are some certain things that are not covered by the bursary.
So they have to assist you.
Transportation, for example. Maybe the bursary didn't pay for the residential where I was staying, so they assisted there, which I was more than grateful.
Yeah.
The financial help was there. In UNISA, I didn't have a bursary. Financial assistance was there fully. When I went to the University of Limpopo, when I got there, I didn't have a bursary. I applied everything, and then I went to the bursaries office. I applied for a merit award, seeing as I had done well in matric.
Okay.
So I took my matric results. I went to apply for a merit award, and they didn't grant me. But instead, I got a phone call from the same university saying that there is a company that wants to offer me a bursary.
Great. It is a great deal.
Yeah. So I rushed there.
After trying so many times, and you still have that option.
Yeah, that opportunity came still.
Yeah.
And I rushed to that office same day. I signed everything same day, and a week later I got my card.
Okay.
And I had thought I'd be sorted for the my entire time doing that course, LLB. But unfortunately, because I had a struggle in the first semester, when I went to the third year, I lost the bursary, and at that time I had NSFAS assisting as well, so I lost both of them,
Okay.
unfortunately. Yeah.
All right. Okay. That must be hard. Okay, so what you're saying is, I know with NSFAS, I used NSFAS, but not for my internally duration of the course that I did. So what you're saying is that if you are not performing well in varsity, or if there's a lack of modules, let's say if you're not a supplement, but if you fail a certain module for the year, you're most likely to lose your bursary.
Yeah, you are likely to lose it, but it depends on how much you fail.
Okay.
And how much you are actually holding, how much is held back.
Okay.
So they obviously have a standard. They want a certain percentage. They also want a certain percentage in terms of modules. In other words, the number of modules that you pass and the number of modules that you carry does have an effect. So you may lose your bursary or NSFAS depending on how well you've done or how less you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for telling us that. I think it's very important for high schooler to know, someone who's in grade 12 or who is also planning to study one day, and someone who just finished their matric and wanting to go to university. So what what advice would you give someone who is in matric or who is planning to go to university? Let's start when it comes to choosing a course. What advice would you give?
All right, it's easy to say, do what you love.
Yeah.
You know, follow your dreams and follow your heart and your passion. That's very easy.
Yeah.
But sometimes those don't come with as much opportunities as you would like. It is the truth, and it's one truth that I actually struggled with while I was coming from a matric going to varsity. They told me the same thing. I didn't get it.
Yeah.
That there's not much opportunities in the media industry.
Yeah.
Of course, you can make it if you work hard.
Okay, so
So
if I may ask, the people who are telling you that there's no opportunities are people who know, or who were in media industry, or it's just an assumption that I know that sometimes people tell you what they want you to do, and let's say, for example, a lawyer can tell you that don't do accounting, but they've never been in that field, just because they've seen or they think that, okay, accounting does not have much opportunities, and they will feel like, okay, no, actually this is not good for you. Yeah.
That is a good point, and it's definitely not the people who are in the industry. It's people who were less experienced in that industry, who are telling me that. So taking their word for it may be tough, you know. But I do also believe that, seeing as how much you might have learned over the years, I'm sure you know some of the jobs which are a risk to go into. Some of the industries which you would need to work extra hard in order to make it. Such things, they might not necessarily be obvious, but you can point to some, even one or two. And those are the ones that you could advise. Look, you want to go there, sure, you can go there, but please know, you know, it's tough to get in.
But also, I think as people, I understand that we want the best for our relatives, our friends, or whoever is around us. But I feel like also, I think it's very important to let the people be. I think it's important, and rather the advice should be do a research. Do a research and know what you're putting yourself into, instead of don't go, because at the end of the day, I know if you're doing something that you don't like, that you're not gonna excel. You
won't cope,
and you won't be fulfilled. Which is important.
Exactly. In fact, what you're saying is very true. When we give advice, we should just advise and leave people to make their own decisions. It's an advice, it's not an order. It's not a directive.
Of course.
So we should let people make their decisions. If they've made the wrong decisions, they will find out sooner, and they will see that things are not working out, and they'll come back for help.
And I think I've seen this a lot in especially where in university where I studied, where just because you want to study, you just go and look for a space. I think that is just a waste of time for me. This thing of okay, you know exactly what you want, but you want, just because you want to be in university, you just study whatever, and then after like second semester or after 1 year, you find out that okay, this is actually not for me, and now we have to leave and do another thing.
Yeah.
It's time consuming and money consuming, and I wouldn't advise that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also for me, I told you that for me, I took a gap year. So I think I would also recommend a gap year. It's not easy, and with a gap year, I think it has to depend on who you are, because sometimes you fall into something, and especially if you find a job. Once you find a job, it's hard to go back to school.
Yeah. Lose all the income.
Lose all the income, even if it's like small income. It's like, oh, okay, now I have to depend on family. It's hard, but I took a gap year because of financial difficulties. I couldn't go to university because of finances, and at the time they just wanted hard cash. I didn't have NSFAS. So but in that 12 months when I was waiting, I was looking forward to go to university.
Yeah.
And when I got there, I knew what I wanted to do. Yeah. So if you can take a gap year from high school, after high school, I mean, just do that. Find yourself, but don't do anything bad, because the time is like you'll be bored.
Yeah.
And
use the time wisely.
Exactly. And if you want to like to upgrade your marks, if you didn't pass well, do that and go into varsity with an open mind and know that okay, if the course is 4 years, yes, you can take 5 years, but you just do your 4 years and you enjoy yourself there, because I'll say that it's nice being there.
Yeah.
It's very enjoyable.
No, it's very amazing.
Very enjoyable. Is there any other advice that you give
for
someone?
For first year students as well as matriculants, the one thing that should be kept in mind is that it starts as soon as the first day.
Yeah.
You know, we tend to relax and say, it's just first year, let me, it starts right there. In university, your first year mark will matter in your final results.
Yeah.
They take like that. Each and every year matters.
Yeah.
The people who are said to have graduated cum laude or summa cum laude, they have put everything together.
And they combine everything, yeah.
And determine whether you are graduating cum laude or summa cum laude.
Yeah.
So you want to graduate with as the best student ever and go to any company or firm or wherever. Start on the very first day.
Yeah.
You have to give it your all from the very first day until the end.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot, but actually there's a way of studying and doing all that a student is required to do, as well as having fun on the side.
Yeah, there is so much fun there.
There is.
Yeah, I think I really enjoyed myself. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my god. If I had to go back, I will go back to university.
Yeah.
If I had to go back to something, I'll go back to university, because I had so much fun. Life was nice.
I guess the details might be left for another video. I would like to know about all of them.
Well, yeah. Comment on the comment section down below if you like us to talk about the fun that university has. It's different though, but anyway. Yeah, and I think that is all for this video. And also he did LLB. If you want to know more about that, we can do another video and talk about the entire LLB. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. It was so good, and I'm sure it's gonna help someone who is looking to go to university. And another thing, please don't play. Don't play. There's no time, especially now. Just research.
Yeah.
And there's a high demand in terms of job opportunities, especially in South Africa. It's very hard.
Yeah.
So when you're doing something, make sure that you don't waste your time.
Imagine, think about how many people want the job, and that if you think in your street alone there are maybe 20 people, multiply that by 2,000.
Even 2,000 is small.
That's how many people you are competing with.
Yeah. Yeah. thank you so much, guys, and thank you so much again.
You're welcome, and thank you for
joining
having
us.
me.
Yeah, this is the last video of this topic, but if you want us to dive into more about university, even if it's not failure, you can just comment and then we'll talk about it. I'll see you on my next video. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.